Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with Lorraine again this week. Kathy is a little under the weather still, but we sent some positive vibes to her, and hopefully she'll be here next week. We've got questions, and one comment I wanted to mention. I answer every question that comes through. So if you're not hearing your question on the show today, make sure you check last week's episode in the comment section so that you can... I just see chickens walk by the way. I just saw like 3 of them go by. Through the hole into the wood shop. Oh, anyway,
just some side information there.
There they go. So if you didn't hear your question answered, make sure you check last week's episode on my blog or on the YouTube watch page, wherever you left your comment. That's where I'll answer it if it's not answered here today. So I know some people say, I asked this question like 3 times. I've never gotten an answer. So you have to go back and look if you haven't heard it on air.
Okay. So, Cynthia Murray, my question is totally on another craft than most of the questions, knitting. I crochet quite well, but have been asked to make washcloths from yarn for a missions project. I find that using the cotton yarn with crochet is not soft and it is bulky, so I'm teaching myself to knit because it's softer. I'm just using the knit stitch, but at the end of every row, the last stitch grows really long. It gets covered up with the next row till I'm at the very end. I can't tuck it in without it looking out of place. I can go in and pull the thread 1 stitch at a time and work the yarn so it is more even across the row, but I'm not sure that's supposed to happen. Any advice is appreciated.
Well, your tension will improve as you become a little more experienced. Yeah. One thing, when you go to turn, pull that yarn tight, because trying to correct it later is a lot more difficult. You don't want to be picking it through. And if you do find, I do find washing it once is going to help. Yes. Yep. Even out that tension when you're all done. Just wash it or block it, where you just dampen it with warm water and then you just kind of stretch it out to the shape you want, and that will help make everything an even tension. Also, I think when you do like the corner up dishcloths, you don't have as much of that of a problem. You know, instead of doing like just a regular square, you start with like 1, then you increase and you make like
yeah, that's what I start with. Yeah. That's how I do mine.
I do too. I think that makes it a little bit more uniform, or you can't really tell.
It's like, it's called on the diagonal, or something. If you're looking up the directions for it.
Yeah.
I don't know where to find them right off.
So just try it. Well, just search. Go on YouTube and search easy dishcloth pattern or easy dishcloth tutorial, but giving a little tug on whatever you turn, just think turn and tug, and then you'll have a nice tight edge there. It's a kind of an experience thing. If you're already crocheting, it won't take you long before you're up to speed on the knitting.
Right. And if you make them, I make a lot of the baby ones.
Oh yeah,
a lot smaller. Because they do need them, and they don't need a big huge washcloth like we do.
Yeah, good practice.
Yeah. Okay, Lee asks, I am left-handed and want to use watercolor pencils. Anybody out there got any tips?
Well, I asked one of my videos, I mentioned that in one of my videos, and I got a lot of really good tips.
Oh, good.
One thing that several people mentioned would just be to put a scrap piece of paper down under your hand as you're working. Since right-handed people tend to work right to left, you might want to work left to right across your paper so you're not dragging your arm in your paper. But I find that even using watercolor pencils myself, I don't tend to rest my hand on my paper, because once it's wet, you really don't want your hand on there. So once sketch it out and then try to just keep your hand up while you're working. Work on an easel, or just put a couple books on your table and clip your work to like a piece of cardboard and tip it up there. That way you can rest your elbow on the table and you won't have any strain, but you also won't be putting your hand in your work. So yeah, give that a try. If anybody else has any tips, please leave them and then check back and see what people have said, because I'm not left-handed.
Me either.
So I can't really give you first-hand advice.
Okay, Chris loves to craft wood. Would a color wheel be a good thing? Oh, that color
color theory!
That color will be a good thing to use when trying to match colors for card making. I saw that Stampin' Up! Had a thing called Color Coach, where you can match up the colors that go well together.
Somebody sent me one of those. That's kind of cool, actually.
Well, there.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Remember, my motto is just use what you like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So the Color Coach has like their colors here. I love paint chips. I love seeing colors together. So like if you knew you wanted to use like a coral, you could look at this thing. Even if you don't have like, I don't have the new colors, I don't have everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I know if I find like if I like this color coral, I can look at these colors, and that might spark some creativity, spark some ideas, put colors that I wouldn't necessarily, like I wouldn't think to put that sagey green and that yellow with the coral, but that's such a pretty combination. Another thing, I was just at Lowe's yesterday, and they had they have a new line of paint, and it's all Pantone colors, like the Pantone marker, color institute.
Oh yes, really?
If I had a few more minutes, I would have grabbed one of every one of those colors just so I could like swirl them all around on my table and like look at them together and see how they go. So paint chips from the hardware store. If you're lucky, you can ask them if they have any of the big fan dexes of colors. They might have last year's. That's fine, because they don't, they can't use it for anything, but you can still flip through there and put colors together and see how it looks. I have one from, that's 15 years old from the Home Depot that I'll grab out every once in a while and kind of mix some colors together and see how it looks. So yeah, I think that's a little more useful than a color wheel, just because, a color wheel can help you kind of figure out what complementary colors are and what, like getting a monochrome, see what colors together to do a split complementary and stuff like that. But I think really like the paint chips are an excellent idea. And there's a website called Design Seeds where you can, I think you can put in a photo and it will bring you a color palette. So you put in a photo that you like it and it will pull up a color palette for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's also a site called Color Lovers. And that's a great one it will generate color palettes for you.
Oh, that's a good way to start.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love colors. It's fun.
Okay, Cashida. I'm really bad at trying to figure out. I just got that loves to craft. So Cashida. I sometimes like to have really bold black outlines in my watercolor paintings, but I have a problem with the black ink smudging. Do you know of a pen or marker that I can use that won't smudge when it gets wet?
Yes, absolutely. There's lots. You can use a Sharpie. They come in regular and fine tip. You can use Micron. They have a lot of really fine tip pens. I use a Microns a lot. You can use a dip pen in India ink. You can use any permanent marker that you probably already have for your, scrapbooking or card making. Anything like that. Any alcohol-based or pigment-based marker or Indian ink-based marker will work.
Very good. Function of Light has a question. You've been discussing how to refresh supplies like pens and ink pads. I'm wondering if there's a way to refresh pigment pens. I have an old set of the Micron pigment ink pens with small nibs. They haven't been used much, so there would be good ink in there. Is there any way to get them juicy again?
I haven't tried to refresh my Micron pens because I use them up, so there isn't any pigment in there when I'm done, and usually by the time you've gotten through an entire pen, you've worn down the tip a little bit, and not that expensive. But you could try there, because I think they have like a pigment and a shellac in there. You could try a little alcohol in there, see if it will loosen up what's in the nib so the ink will flow again. You could try pulling the back off and putting a couple drops of alcohol in there and see if it will loosen it up. There's no guarantee, but if it's going to be a throwaway, it doesn't hurt to try it. You could also try putting some India ink in there. That might work. I have not tried that because they seem a little bit more of a delicate instrument compared to like a brush tip marker, which you can just kind of, drop some alcohol in there or drop some, water and glycerin in there and it's good to go. The Microns, I think, are a little bit more sensitive. So, if you're going to throw it away, go ahead and experiment with it. Alcohol would probably be my first thing to try. After that, probably India ink, and see how you get on. And let us know if you try it. Let us know if you were successful or not, so I can know whether or not to recommend that course of action again.
Right. Stacy has a question about color. I thought I understood warm and cool colors.
Oh, another color question. Lorraine will clear it right up for you.
Oh, boy, yeah, let me see. It's time for my nap. For example, gray. There's a cool gray and a warm gray. I just seem to be able to look at a gray marker and know if it's cool or warm. What are they seeing? How do you identify one over the other?
You're seeing the undertones. So, and actually, Sue Cole left a great response to her, saying that a cool gray will be more bluish, could also be more purplish, and a warm gray will have more yellow undertones. And that's basically how you could tell them apart. So if you're thinking, if you were like coloring something that was like aluminum, and you want that cool metal look, you'd want to use your cool grays. If you were coloring something like like a warm gold metal, like a warm grayish metal. I'm trying to think of like a platinum. Maybe you'd want those more warmer tones. So just just that's kind of a way to kind of differentiate it in your head, I think. Also, all colors have a warm and cool bias too, so it's good to be able to tell what your undertones are in a color. So if you see like ultramarine blue, that's got a little bit of a warm undertone. It tips towards purple or red more on the color wheel, whereas like a phthalo blue has more of a green undertone. It's a little cooler. It tips more towards green. So just kind of being able to see your undertones, paying attention to that, it'll just help you when you're coloring things, having them more accurate.
That's good. I mean, that I can understand that a little bit better. Two ladies had related questions. Beth Benz, I have purchased a rock-a-block from Crafter's Companion, but I did not purchase the recommended adhesive spray. Is there something I may have on hand I could use? Thanks for your advice.
I use Aleene's Tacit Over and Over glue. I have to special order it. None of the stores around here have it, but it's about I would say it's between $4 and $6 a bottle. I think it's,
I think I got mine at Joann's.
Did they have it in stock at Joann's? I bought it at Joann's.com. I didn't see it in our
no, I haven't ordered online. I don't order much online.
No. Well, it's an adhesive that you can make glue dots out of.
Good stuff.
It's really good. So what I do is I brush it on the back of my rubber stamps, and then I'll stick that to my block. You let it dry on the back of the rubber stamps. So when I buy rubber, when I get rubber, I get like this is a set from About Art Accents or Art Neco. And so this is what you get, and then all these stamps, you would cut them apart, and then on the back I would just brush them with the Aleene's Tacit Over and Over, and it would make it kind of like a sticker, so then I could stick it on my clear block and stamp with it. And that's what I do, and then I can store it right in my binder on like a storage sheet or outside of a page protector or something.
You didn't do that to that one.
Actually, no, I'm not going to do that to this because this is the 50 state bird set, so I have several plates of these, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose them, so I just ink up the one I want, and I put my paper on the top. And then that way I know I won't lose any of the stamps in the set, or I'll be able to find which stamp I need because each plate has its own birds on it. So
that comes out okay with doing it like that?
Comes out great, because these are really deeply etched.
That's detailed.
Yeah, but they're really deeply etched, so they print really well.
Okay.
It's Art Neco stamps. But yeah, I just, for those, since it's really easy just to stamp them like that.
Oh, and then Pat Hathaway says, please explain again how to use the Tacit glue. I like Tacit.
Tacit, that is nice.
With unmounted stamps. I finally found some of the glue at Joann's. I have coated all my plastic blocks with it. Oh, you don't coat the blocks, do you?
No, I don't.
No. After it dried, they were really tacky and kept sticking to each other. I mean, that's not funny, but it is kind of
I wondered how that would work, because I thought, well, boy, that would save money. Just put it on the blocks.
Just put it on the block.
But then I have so many stamps that don't require that because they're clear or they have the cling on it, so I was afraid it might rip the cling off of my...
I think you could get into a big mess. I lined them up on some wax paper and put them in a drawer. That's what I do, and forget about them for a while.
Until you go to reach for something, then you got all these blocks.
That situation got taken care of. I'm still confused, and I think maybe I was supposed to put the glue on the back of the rubber stamps because somehow you stuck yours to the plastic envelope they came in. That works, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one, I like this name, Poisoned Apple Crafts.
Okay, so let me just reiterate to Pat Hathaway. Yes, you put the Tacit Over and Over on the back of the stamps. Let it dry completely before you stick it on your storage protector, your storage binders, or your envelopes that came in, or the blocks. Otherwise, it will transfer. So for those blocks that you have that are coated, use some like Undo or some Goo Gone and remove the adhesive from the blocks. It won't damage the blocks. You can clean them with a little Windex afterwards, and then you'll be back. You'll be back to rights again. Just start painting the back of your stamps, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
We weren't laughing at you. It's just we all do stuff like that.
That's just so typical of something I do. Oh yeah, and then get in so deep that you need help getting out.
Yeah, I get paper stuck to them or something.
Oh yes. Poisoned Apple Crafts. Okay, I have a lot of questions. I travel a lot and usually just pack up a bunch of crafting supplies. I was wondering if you have any tips for doing so, or if you know of any great travel kits. Next question. Oh, you want to answer that one
Sure.
first?
Well, I can show my scrapbook bag because I keep a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff
very
in my
organized.
Scrapbook
She
bag.
comes to the crop with just what she needs.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Imagine what a concept.
No.
So I don't know if this might be too big than what you could travel with. I don't know. It's about the size of a messenger bag, but I've got several, and I have more in here, more than I need in here. Like in this back is kind of like my media. I've got gel sticks, and I've got a couple packages of the Bic Markets, the fine and the ultra fine, and baby wipes and some cosmetic sponges for blending inks. And there's a pocket on the other side. I just have a 12x12 trimmer. It's one of the fold-up ones, the cutter peed ones, because I tend to use that a lot. I don't use it at home because I have a big guillotine cutter. And then in the inside, Lorraine, I might have you grab that for me. You can hold it up maybe. I have this, all my Dewdrop mini pads in there. I've got little things of twine, adhesive, scissors, paint brushes, a water brush, pens, a cutting mat, and some paper back here. So really, I mean, I could even just throw my art journal in here and have more than I need to create on the go. And obviously, you don't have to have this much stuff. This is, you know, that's a little heavy probably if I was going to like try to take it on a plane or something that's just too big to shove under a seat.
Yeah.
But
if you're traveling in a car, if you go,
yeah,
that would be fine. That'd be great.
You know, that's what I'd bring to the stamp show, and so I'd have my own stuff and wouldn't have to share, and I could work, you know, in my room or in the, you know, breakfast room or whatever when when we're done. So, yeah.
It's good to have those things and just a little bit of a bunch of things.
Yeah, and it's great to put the things in there you never seem to use otherwise, because then when you're forced to pare down and use those supplies, you'll actually see how versatile they are.
Sounds good. Next question, I want to get into making videos on YouTube, but don't know what people would like. And if you have any tips for blogging so that I can get a feel for what people like of mine and that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would ask yourself is what is unique about you and what do you like to do? Because you don't want to just be making your videos to make other people happy, because that's not going to make you happy. You know, when you try to make everybody happy, it's very frustrating. I've done that, and it's, you know, and then you feel bad when you can't make everybody happy. I would try to figure out what it is that you do really well and start making videos on it. Do the things that you love to do, because there's a lot of people that watch YouTube. There's going to be people that like what you do. So do what you want to do and do what you like, because when you're excited about something and you're passionate about it, people are drawn to it. And even if it's something that they might not necessarily want to do, if they like you and the way you're presenting it and how excited you are about it, then they'll want to watch your video. So that's the most important thing. There's so many people in this world with so many different interests, so do what makes you happy. There will be people there that will also want to see it.
Yes, that's true. Last question, any great recipes for homemade puffy paint?
Well, I didn't have a recipe for that, so I went online and I found a blog called meaningfulmama.com. That's M-A-M-A for the mama, meaningfulmama.com. And she had several recipes on there with examples, so you could see what effect you want to produce. But her basic recipe was 3/4 cups shaving cream, 1/4 cup glue, 1/4 cup flour, and then food coloring. So obviously this is not like fabric safe. Yeah. You might want to purchase puffy paint if you need fabric puffy paint. But if this is something for the kids, then this sounds like a good recipe. But you can go to that website. I'll put a link below the video to that post where she posted that, so you can check it out. But that's what I found.
Very good.
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, maybe you could add. Shaving cream would wash out. So
yeah,
if you're using it on fabric, I don't know. I think I would just probably get the puffy paint, because I think the ingredients you would need. Puffy paint's not that expensive for fabric, so I think I would just buy the puffy paint. But if you're doing it for paper or for kids, that recipe I think would do the trick.
Summertime project.
Absolutely.
Sounds like fun.
Outdoor project.
Oh yeah.
Outdoors with the chickens.
Oh yeah, that's what I got lined up today.
Oh boy.
I got a chicken that needs to have a bath.
I've never bathed the chicken.
Oh, his bottom is very, we got problems here.
Oh no.
So yeah, I have to do that quite often, but it's awful hard to get a helper.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine the chicken's too willing.
Oh no, chicken's no.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh well, I would offer to help, but
yeah, right.
That doesn't sound like fun. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, the only one I can line up is my 3-year-old grandson. He is all for it.
Oh, I bet. Well, you know what I found? My chickens like to be swaddled. Like take a towel and you wrap them up. They like to be swaddled. So maybe if you'd swaddle the chicken and then.
Yeah, they do. They do much better because they don't feel comfortable with their legs hanging.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up for us. I think we're just about out of time. We got a minute. Look at that. We're doing good.
There you go.
So if you have a question, go ahead and leave a comment. If you have any advice for anybody else that's left questions, you can go ahead and respond as well. And that does it for us. I want to thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video. And until next time, happy crafting.
Happy crafting.